Hey y'all, it's Amanda and this is my Texas Donate Garden, and today we are ready to prepare for spring. We are outside in the front yard. I am going to be cleaning up this bed from all the winter debris, pruning back perennials, digging up a few plants to either move or dispose of, and pulling out all of the containers that I've stored on the back porch or the front porch for the winter. Okay, so our 10-day forecast looks like amazing. The coldest it's going to get is like 45. And so I'm feeling really good about getting prepared for the spring. So this is going to be my first big project prepping for the spring. And I wanted to, this is probably going to be divided into two videos. The first is going to be doing all the cleaning and the prepping. The second is going to be planting. We'll be planting the first of the spring containers, and we're going to be planting some of the first plants into the actual ground, things that I grew and things that I purchased. But what I want to do is I want to go by a little bit plant by plant, kind of showing you some of the pruning and stuff I'm doing, things I'm looking for, issues I'm having. I have a spirea at the back that needs to be dug up. I think we might go ahead and start with that. So let's do that first. Awkward. Okay, so looks like I missed some pine cones from Christmas and an actual Christmas tree back there. Okay, right here I have a spirea. This is a spirea. It's a proven winter spirea. It's been here actually quite a while. It's been here at least maybe 4 years, maybe 5. This might be its 5th year. And it did really great for a while until we got the freeze of 2021, maybe? Is it 21 or 20? I'm not sure. Well, it was when we had that really crazy temperatures, and it just never recovered from that. So I tried trimming it. It's just, and you can even see now, it's just, my other spireas are about to bloom and this guy is just struggling. We're going to take it out. It makes me upset now when I see it. I just would rather just let it go. So I am going to dig it up the best I can. We'll see how this goes. I do have like drip lines in the garden, so I do need to be a little bit careful if I feel resistance. But I really just want to get in here, get this plant moved. I might replace it with something else in the future. It's not going to be something right now. I need to think more about what I want here. This area gets a lot of shade, which also might have been why this guy ended up struggling. I got my new gardening boots. These are called they're from the original Muck Boot Company. And they were on sale. And they're slip-ons and they're waterproof. So, and they have a really like thick sole, so I can use it for things like this when I'm doing harder work. It's in here pretty good, y'all. Oh yeah. Let's see. I mean, you can tell it's been here for a while. I mean, look at some of the roots. That's one of its roots right there. It's crazy. All right. It's out. I don't think I did too much or any damage to the drip lines in here. It's finding a few of the roots I see and pulling those up. I'm sure I'll discover other roots over time, but I'm glad this is out. It was not doing well. Okay, so one thing about this hole is I think what I'm going to be doing is taking a lot of my debris from my pruning, and I'm going to be kind of just packing it over here in this area. I'm just going to lay it all in here. any of the pruning I do from any of the perennials today, lay it on in here, and then I'll come over the top of it. I'll probably put some of it over here, come over all of the top of it with some mulch. That'll be a really good way to just allow all this to kind of break down. Okay, so I get a lot of questions about how to know when to cut back your perennials. And there's a lot of philosophies regarding when to cut perennials back. I'm going to tell you mine. Might not be the same as yours or same as another gardener's. So I like to leave a lot of this stuff over the winter time. It's good habitat for beneficial insects and such. As long as the growth is not diseased, meaning that it did not have disease while it was alive, I will just leave it there into the spring. If there was any kind of disease that I dealt with during the actual growing season, I would cut it all the way back and remove it because I don't want to just spread that disease throughout the garden. How do I know when it's time to time to cut? I usually wait till I see the new growth coming up. And not just a teeny bit of new growth. I usually like to see between 4 and 6 inches of new growth. At that time, you're getting to the point where the beneficial insects that were perhaps hiding in here now have new area to hide in. So that makes it easier to come in here and cut it back. So this right here is a Caradonna sage salvia, and it's beautiful. I usually cut it back at least 2 to 3 times a year, and it comes back with absolutely beautiful dark purple blooms that are just stunning. And so we'll go ahead. I'm cutting back all the dead growth just right to the base of the plant. Some of my plant tags back in there. And all of this that has all this dead stuff is going to go in that back corner where I just removed that shrub. And then any beneficial insects that could potentially be living in it still have the opportunity to move themselves elsewhere. And I'm not going to really worried about pulling back a lot of the leaves or anything like that. Right now I'm going to pull them away from the base of the plant some, because if you have too much mulch at the base of the plant, it can cause too much moisture, especially early on when we're flipping back and forth between winter and spring. And then right back here behind it is a white salvia. I don't recall the name of it. I'm going to take a lot of this growth out. Even like this long piece that has a lot of growth, I'm still going to go ahead and take it down so I can get a nice compact plant going here. All of these green parts coming up right here are a mixture of Muscari and Mount Hood daffodils that are coming up. Typically these Mount Hood daffodils, those are kind of these back here, they're a little bit late compared to the rest of mine. Okay, I have a little quick-fire hydrangea that needs a little bit of trimming. I'm just coming above a set of 2 leaves and taking off some of this dead growth at the top just to refresh it a little bit. Not doing anything too harsh with this. I'm also going to come in here and I'm probably going to remove a few branches just to open it up a little bit in the middle. I'm really grabbing branches that are lower down. There's looks like 3 main branches here, or 4 main branches. I'm just going to kind of focus on those and get rid of some of the extra growth that might be interacting or inhibiting others. Okay, looks good. Okay, this and this are yellow gaillardia. And this is the first time I've ever had it over winter for me. So I'm kind of psyched. So I'm coming in here and I'm removing a lot of the old dead growth here. You can be really harsh and just like cut straight across the top. All these leaves will regrow. Or you can be a little bit more particular like I am, going in and leaving as much of the fresh growth as you can. I'm also removing any like weeds that I see along the way. Now this Gaillardia is still alive. It's not as far along as the other one, but it's got a lot coming down here at the base. I'm actually getting, oh look, I'm just gently pull. Look at that. And that's all the new growth right there. Looking good? Looks good. Okay, right here and right here, I have a Japanese anemone. And it really needs to be moved to the shade garden where it has more shade. So I think we're going to go ahead and dig that up now. I'm just going to put it into a pot for the time being. Okay, so I've just got my hoary knife. I'm going to come in and I'm going to try to work around this salvia here. There we go. Well, that's part of the root. Look at that from the Japanese anemone. This is its root. Look at that. Well, that's insane. Look at that. It's crazy looking. Got a little bit more of it over here. Definitely looks like it's spread. I believe the variety is Fantasy. I got it from Bluestone Perennials. So that tells me that I'm probably going to have some roots going. Yep, there's more of it coming off. It's never flourished very well over here, so I'm not real stressed about it, even if it's trying to spread, because it doesn't do well. So it should be fine. I'll pull these up in a few places, and then I'll just keep an eye on them, and as I see them, I'll start pulling them up. But we can go ahead and move some of this into, this is probably hydrangea right there. We can move some of this into the shade garden. And for the time being, I'm just gonna tuck it into this pot. Just like that for right now. Okay, and then remember, as I'm trimming, tossing a bunch of my cuttings back in that area. Once I've done all of my pruning, I will go back and add mulch over the top of all these trimmings back there. Okay, next set to deal with. These right here are dianthus. They're like a beautiful dark pink. So I'm just reaching in and I'm going to the dead stems and I'm following them all the way to the base and then cutting them there. When I planted these last fall, they're doing exactly what I hoped they would do, which is give me some early rounds of blooms this spring. Dianthus, these are long stem ones. I don't know the particular variety, I apologize. But they're like a beautiful dark purple. And they're already putting on some small blooms down low. But these are going to be beautiful right here. The penny blue violas will still be in bloom when the dianthus start blooming. So it's going to be gorgeous. All right, that looks nice and fresh. Looks good. And the last one right here. Okay, that looks nice and fresh. These coming up, all of the river of penny blue violas. These right here are Mount Hood daffodils. You can see right here are all the muscari starting to come up. Okay, this is a dianthus right here. Now it's got some weeds around it, so it's got like clover. All right, got some of that cleared out, and that now you can see more of the base of this starting to come up. I believe this variety is a white, and it's a Proven Winners variety. I'll put the name down below. Looks good. Okay, While we're here, let's talk about this hellebore right here. This hellebore is called, let's see, Ice and Roses Red. And I've had it here for many years. Now, all of these down here are old greens. And I'm going to go ahead and take all this old leaves off. And that will allow the plant the opportunity to focus on new growth. So everything that was low and sitting on the ground, and you can see it's putting off new greens, which is great. And of course, all these beautiful blooms. So that looks really nice and cleaned up in that area. And then all these greens I'm just throwing behind me. Now this right here is a mum, and it is a mum that I just, like a regular fall mum, bought in the fall, put it in here. It's this beautiful purple burgundy color, and I'll put a picture of it up so you can see what it looks like. And it has started spreading, which I'm all for. I love the shape of mum leaves. I think they're beautiful and interesting. And so this guy has started spreading around, and I'm excited about it. I think I'm not going to do it now, but I think in the fall, after all the after its bloom cycle, I think it would be a good idea to perhaps dig up some of these portions and move them to other parts of the yard. Because I enjoy this color so much, it would be a nice opportunity to include this color other places, so I have some repetition, which would be really nice, but also a free plant because I'm just dividing it and moving it around. Now, I've never really had a mum spread like this, so this is kind of new to me. I don't know the variety of this mum. This was literally just a pretty mum bought in a pot at a big box store. That was it. Nothing special about it. Got a lot of people who ask, like, how do I know if the mum is hardy or not? Well, unless it has a tag that says that it's hardy in your zone, you don't. And this one did not have a tag. I just planted it because I wanted the pretty color with no expectations that it would come back, and it did. So this is actually its third spring with me. And it will give me a flush of blooms this spring. And then in the fall, it will give me another round. And so basically all these brown stems sticking up, this is all old growth. And you can see how pretty this becomes. It's almost become like a ground cover, but it will grow up way taller, about 18 inches in height. It'll be really, really nice. And so I'll just finish cutting back all this. And then directly behind it, I've got this guy right here, which is my black diamond hellebore. And Kristen gave this to me a couple of years ago. This is the first year that it's bloomed, and it's doing really beautiful. The blooms are stunning, like a dark black purple color. Now you can see all the new growth versus the old growth, and you do want to remove the old growth from hellebore so that it can focus on new leaves. So I'm going to trim out some of these older leaves, making room for the new growth, because I don't want the plant to focus on like keeping old leaves alive. The leaves that might become sick or diseased or things like that. So it's best just to go ahead and get those out of there. They tend to be a little bit darker and larger than the newer leaves. But you can see that's a nice refresh right there. It looks good. Okay, back here is a maidenhair fern. And I had a pot sitting right here, and you can see it sunk a lot. And I literally popped it right on top of this maidenhair fern. And this maidenhair fern started as just a few plants, and over the years it has spread, but it never survives. Like it always has to be cut down in early spring, and it will send up new shoots everywhere. So I literally just come along. A lot of times I can just pull because it's older and dead. This is all dead growth, and it does not pull the plant up. But this plant has spread a lot. I'm cool with that because I know that it will stop once it gets to an area that's too hot. Also going to be digging up a bunch of this year to transplant into the shade garden, which I'm really looking forward to. And I am putting the pot right back here again. But when I do that, I'm going to put down some mulch again, and then I'm also going to put plant feet because I didn't do that this last time around with my pots in my garden, and that was a poor decision. I should have put some, lifted them up some so it was easier for them to drain. Would have been a ton better. I'm just kind of moving some of this like mulch over into this area, and leaving all this debris will do fine. It'll be great. All this is just going to break down and make better quality soil. Now I did want to say, if I thought any of this plant stuff debris was diseased, I wouldn't be putting it in my garden. But it's just dead material that will break down. And then I have one container right here, which I believe this was Scaevola, maybe? Was in here? I don't recall, but we'll find something else and then also get this guy propped up better. All right, one more little area back here. And this was an airplane plant that I put a hanging basket here years ago, and I guess little bits of the basket fell and planted itself here. Okay, so back here we've got all this plant debris. I'm literally just going to come through and kind of step on all of it. And I don't want to go too far forward because I've got what do you call it? Foxgloves that I grew from seed over here. Clean that up a little bit. That guy, everybody else looks good except for this guy looks kind of meh. And I've got a couple of bricks that I used to prop up the container last time, so I'm going to move those forward. All right, and let me go get some mulch. Okay, and this mulch is going to be a different color. I'm gradually switching out to non-dyed mulch. So this is a no-float cypress mulch. So I'm just going to dump it out right in this area. And right over this debris, and this will all settle over time. And all that debris will just get worked into the soil and improve the overall quality of my soil, which I'm excited for. Okay, I've got some pots over here. This big pot goes right there. I've got another pot with dianthus that goes there, and I think I'm going to bring in a third pot. Then this guy right here goes here. So what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to go get some of those bigger rocks that I had to kind of nestle down into this area that I just created. And then I can put the container on top of those rocks so it's lifted up enough that it can drain properly. So I gotta say, I'm kind of pleasantly surprised with the lack of weeds that I'm seeing. All right, so I've got these stones. They're all relatively the same height. Let's see if I'm going to be able to move this. It's a heavy one. I don't know, y'all. There we go. Need that just to slide into place. Dripping sweat. Okay, so we've got some evergreens in here. Some faux evergreen branches I'm gonna go ahead and pull out. Statue. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this. A couple of plants out right here. And then this will be a project that we'll deal with in the next part. Okay. I'm tired, that was hard. Let me move another one forward. It's a smaller one, should be easier. This one has dianthus in it. We'll get that cleaned up tomorrow. Okay, so we got another one. I'm really glad that I've got these propped up on some substantial rocks. Now this one will get all covered because all the fern will grow up around this and it will be beautiful. And then these here have a bunch of foxgloves that I grew from seed at the base. These right here. And then I'm going to be adding a couple of phlox directly into the ground here. We're going to get this all cleaned up. I think this pot is leaning quite a bit. I think I need like this guy on this side, this guy on this side. Yeah, it's a little better. Maybe another container here. I'm not sure. I got to think about it. Okay, last thing I want to do is fertilize a lot of these perennials that I was just messing with. And I just use a general fertilizer. I use plant tone. Basically, oh, I need to get up on my knees. Okay. Pretty much it. I might drag my hands around it a little bit, but not much. The rain will work all of it in. But get some of that fertilizer in around the base of the plants. Okay, not that much work. I mean, I'm sweating. Not that long, and this looks like $1 million. It looks great already. Really excited. This Caradonna will fill in this whole corner. These Gaillardia add a big pop of yellow in early summer, which is really fun. All of these foxglove are new. I believe they're peach Dalmatian. So those will be really pretty and fun in their perennials. Bright, dark pink magenta color from the dianthus. Beautiful kind of plum color from the mum. I have another phlox right here, and then I'm pretty sure I'm going to put a phlox and a phlox right there too. I think it would be really fun. And then we're going to work on these containers, getting them ready. This area is going to come together really, really well. Okay, that feels good. I'm sweating a lot. I think it's looking really nice. I'm really excited to see that the Gaillardia made its way through the winter. That'll be really fun. I am starting to see some of the Muscari peeking up here, which will be really pretty. These violas, they'll probably make it to mid-May, then they'll get pulled up. I am going to go ahead and potentially start tucking in some petunias throughout some of these violas. I think that would be really pretty. And just enjoy. I think I might do like a lavender, would be really pretty, mixed in with these penny blue violas. And then as the violets kind of fade, the petunias should start taking over, and then they both should fade out in the hottest parts of the summer, and we won't have either of them. So I'll either replace them with something else, or more likely I won't spend the money on that. I'll just go ahead and mulch this area and leave it as it is until it's time to start planting in the fall. But the next video is definitely going to be the containers, getting these containers started, and we're going to be planting some stuff in the ground as well. I already picked up the things we're going to be planting in the ground. A lot of what's going in the containers was from my recent trip to Covington's, and it's some of the stuff that I've grown. We're definitely going to put in some cleome, which I grew from seed as well, so I'm really looking forward to that. And then I do want to make sure that fertilizing, I know I didn't touch on that very much. Fertilizing is really important right now when your perennials are breaking dormancy. So very important to go ahead and get them at least a little bit of fertilizer in the ground. This will all get watered in with the spring rains, which will be great, but it will all start breaking down, and it's osmosis with this, slow release fertilizer, so it should work really good. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and drink some water, take a little break. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Every time you guys like and every time you comment, it helps grow the channel so much. Let me know if you are out and about in your garden or if it's still too cold in your area. I feel like I have two sets of gardeners. I have the gardeners who are gardening right along with me right now because their schedules are similar to mine, and then I have my northern gardeners who are typically anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks behind me. So I'm interested to hear what you're all doing at this point in time. And make sure you check me out on my social media outlets, including Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. As always, she's a mad gardener or decorator or anything else that she wants to be. Thanks, y'all.